Have you ever noticed a sound that seems to exist only for you? A soft ringing, a high-pitched tone, a subtle vibration in the silence that feels almost intentional, as if it's calling your attention rather than disturbing it. Perhaps you've tried to explain it away, telling yourself it's stress, fatigue, or imagination. Maybe you've even questioned your own awareness, wondering why no one else seems to notice what you hear. That uncertainty can be unsettling, especially when the experience feels meaningful but lacks explanation. You are left suspended between curiosity and doubt, sensing that something is happening, yet not knowing what it truly means. In today's video, we will bring clarity to that experience. You will understand why this frequency is not random, not anxiety, not tinnitus, and not a trick of the mind. We will explore what this sound actually represents and why it appears only at certain moments in certain people. More importantly, you will learn why some souls don't simply hear this frequency, they recognize it. This video will help you discern whether what you are experiencing is a neurological distraction or the first subtle signal of something far deeper beginning to awaken within you. By the end of this video, confusion will be replaced with understanding, and uncertainty with grounded awareness. You will no longer dismiss the experience or fear it, you will know how to listen to it with discernment. This understanding has the power to shift how you see yourself, your sensitivity, and your place in the larger unfolding of consciousness. If this sound has ever made you pause, if it has ever felt familiar rather than foreign, then this video is not something to skim or leave halfway through. Stay with it until the end, because what begins as a sound may reveal itself as the first pulse of your awakening. Before we delve deeper, if you felt a resonance in what you just heard, please subscribe to the Spiritual Flow channel, like and share this video so the algorithm can deliver the message to the souls who need it. Your presence here is not accidental, and your presence is more significant than you think. Now, stay with me. Lower your breath, listen deeply, because the story about to begin is not an abstract concept, but a decoding of the sound you heard, the vibration that called your name, and something that has been slowly awakening within you for a long time. Section 1. The first pulse of awakening. The frequency you hear is not noise. It is initiation. When consciousness begins to awaken, it rarely arrives as a sudden realization or a fully formed understanding. It announces itself first through sensation through the body, through perception, through subtle experiences that cannot yet be explained by logic. Awareness awakens the nervous system before it reaches the mind, and for many souls, sound becomes the doorway. It begins as a tone, a soft ringing, a high, almost crystalline frequency that appears without warning. It may emerge in moments of stillness, in the quiet before sleep, or in the space between thoughts. When you notice it, it seems to vanish. When you forget about it, it returns. This is not coincidence. This is how initiation works. The signal responds not to attention, but to readiness. For those who carry the M mark, the crescent moon, or especially both etched upon the palm, this frequency is not merely something you hear. It is something that recognizes you. It is code activating, a signal awakening dormant instructions already embedded within your energetic and physical design. The mark is not symbolic decoration, it functions as a receiver, a tuning point, an interface between your biology and higher consciousness. This is why the experience often arrives without explanation. The call always comes before comprehension. Awakening does not wait for belief systems, education, or permission from the rational mind. It bypasses them. The sound does not ask whether you are ready to understand. It simply arrives because you are ready to receive. Awakened souls have always been contacted this way. Long before language, before doctrine, before memory, initiation occurred through frequency. The body remembers what the mind has forgotten. The sound is not asking you to analyze it. It is inviting you to remember yourself. If this frequency has found you, it is because something within you is already awake enough to respond. Understanding will come later. Meaning will unfold in layers. But first comes the pulse. First comes the signal. First comes the quiet, knowing that something ancient has stirred and that your awakening has already begun. Before we move forward, pause for a moment and feel into what you've just heard. Notice what is stirring inside you, not as a thought, but as a sensation, a resonance, a quiet recognition. This is not information meant to rush past you. It is an experience meant to be acknowledged. If this message resonates, take a second to support the journey by liking this video. It helps this frequency reach the souls who are ready to hear it. And if you feel called, leave a comment sharing what you've felt, what you've noticed, or when this frequency first began appearing in your life. You can also simply type, "I recognize the call." This is not just engagement, it is affirmation. And now, as we move into the next section, allow your awareness to deepen, because the signal you felt is only the beginning of what is about to be revealed. Section 2. The symbols Dolores never spoke about. For decades, Dolores Cannon devoted her life to revealing one essential truth: awakened souls hear the call first. Long before global shifts, before collective realizations, before consciousness catches up with itself, there are always a few who feel something stirring early, subtle, persistent, impossible to ignore. Through thousands of QHHT sessions, she documented this pattern again and again. Yet within all that she shared publicly, there was a silence, a deliberate absence, something she never fully placed into words. Dolores never openly documented what many awakened souls quietly noticed for themselves. She never taught about palm activation codes. She never spoke directly about the physical symbols that some souls are born, carrying marks etched into the hand long before memory, belief, or identity take form. Symbols that do not belong to culture or coincidence, but function instead as living interfaces. Receivers, keys, antennas, biological signatures designed to respond to a new timeline as it comes online. These marks were not ignored by accident. They were seen, they were recognized, and yet they were left largely unspoken. In her most advanced sessions, they appeared quietly, referenced indirectly, acknowledged without explanation. Not because they lacked importance, but because they required readiness. These symbols were not meant for intellectual debate or public fascination. They were meant for recognition, something far more precise than belief. That is why, before moving any further, you were asked to do something deceptively simple. To look at your hand with intention, not casually, not with curiosity alone, but with presence. To trace the lines slowly, to notice their intersections, to search for the M, to look for the crescent moon, and most importantly, to observe what happens inside you when you do. For many, this moment does not produce excitement or emotion. There is no dramatic reaction, no rush of feeling. Instead, there is a pause, a stillness, a subtle internal shift that bypasses thought entirely. Because recognition does not originate in the mind. It does not rise from imagination or desire. True recognition moves through the body first. This is why those who carry these marks often struggle to explain what they know. Their awareness is not conceptual. It is embodied. The hand does not prove anything it remembers. These symbols function as dormant circuitry, responding when the frequency is right, activating when the inner and outer timelines begin to align. What Dolores understood but rarely stated outright was that some information cannot be taught. It can only be triggered. These symbols do not ask you to believe. They ask you to notice. They do not demand interpretation. They invite resonance. Recognition is not emotional. It is cellular. Section 3. The dual code and the hidden fourth group. If something stirred within you as you listened, a subtle pull in your chest, a shiver across your spine, or a quiet inner recognition, you are not simply experiencing an awakening. What you are feeling is identification, resonance, a remembering that reaches beyond emotion or belief. It is the signal that you belong to a rare and often unspoken subgroup of souls whose role on this planet has always existed outside ordinary categories. Dolores Cannon spoke openly of 3 waves of volunteers, souls who stepped forward to assist Earth during its period of transformation. These waves were documented, discussed, and gradually understood. Yet within her sessions, something else repeatedly appeared. A presence she could sense but not fully classify. A group that did not fit the framework of volunteers at all. These souls did not arrive by choice alone. They arrived pre-coded. They were marked before birth, not as a sign of identity, but as a safeguard of memory. Marked so that no matter how deeply they immersed themselves in human experience, something essential would remain intact. Marked so they would not forget who they are. Even when surrounded by distortion, noise, and illusion. These markings were never meant to be symbolic. They were functional, living interfaces between consciousness and form. The M carries the memory of the messenger. It holds ancient discernment, the innate ability to distinguish truth from illusion, without analysis, debate, or external validation. Those who carry it often sense deception immediately, even when appearances suggest safety or authority. This is not skepticism, it is recognition, a knowing rooted in lifetimes of navigating collapsing systems and false structures. The crescent moon, by contrast, carries the code of transition. It grants sensitivity to movement between timelines. Those marked with it often feel shifts before they occur emotionally, energetically, even physically. They sense when cycles are ending, when realities are thinning, when something is preparing to emerge. This is why such souls often feel restless before global or personal change. Their nervous systems respond to the future arriving early. When these 2 symbols appear together, they form what can only be described as the dual code. Not an identity, not a hierarchy, but a frequency, one strong enough to move awareness forward without force, one capable of anchoring new levels of consciousness ahead of the collective, simply by existing in coherence. These souls do not lead by instruction, they lead by resonance. If you recognize yourself here, understand this. Recognition is not emotional, it is cellular. And it has always been waiting for the moment when the world was ready to feel you. Before we move forward, pause here for just a moment. Let what you have heard settle not in your thoughts, but in your body. Ask yourself what resonated, what felt familiar without explanation, what stirred quietly beneath the surface. This is not about agreement or belief. It is about recognition. If something within you responded, honor that response. Take a breath. Reflect on what this dual code means in your own life. And if you feel called, leave a comment sharing what surfaced for you. Or simply type the sentence, "I recognize the code within me." Your reflection anchors the frequency, and it prepares us for what comes next. Section 4. The 5 signs of code activation. When the inner code begins to awaken, it does not announce itself through chaos or discomfort. It reveals itself through signs, clear, deliberate markers of activation. These are not symptoms to be diagnosed. not coincidences to be dismissed, and not anomalies to be feared. They are signals of alignment, appearing in a precise sequence as dormant awareness comes online within you. The first sign is the ringing, a soft yet unmistakable vibration arising in the silence, often sensed in the right ear. It may arrive without warning and disappear the moment you focus on it, as if awareness itself completes the circuit. This sound is not external and not imagined. It is frequency recognition the moment your inner field responds to a signal it already understands. The second sign is the collapse of time. Hours seem to vanish without explanation. Days feel shorter, lighter, almost compressed. Memories blur in a strange way. Events from long ago feel vivid and near, while recent experiences carry an ancient weight. This is not disorientation. It is the loosening of linear perception as consciousness begins to move beyond chronological limits. The third sign is separation. You may find yourself surrounded by people yet feeling profoundly alone. Conversations continue, but something essential no longer translates. You speak, but feel unheard, not because others ignore you, but because your frequency has shifted beyond familiar resonance. This withdrawal is not rejection or isolation. It is a natural disengagement from environments, relationships, and patterns that no longer match who you are becoming. The fourth sign is synchronicity. Numbers begin to repeat with uncanny precision. Thoughts manifest rapidly, sometimes before you have fully formed them. Meetings, opportunities, and encounters align effortlessly, without pursuit or strain. These moments are not messages you must decode. They are confirmations, evidence that your internal state and external reality are beginning to move as one. The fifth sign is remembrance. A sudden, inexplicable pull toward ancient civilizations emerges. Egypt, Atlantis. Forgotten temples, symbols, and architectures you never consciously studied yet somehow recognize. Images feel familiar, names feel known. This is not curiosity. It is memory stirring beneath the surface, responding to knowledge stored far deeper than intellect. These 5 signs mark the awakening of the code. They indicate alignment, activation, and recall. Yet as profound as they are not the rarest part of this process. What comes next reveals something far more uncommon, something only a few ever reach. Section 5. The sixth sign in timeline divergence. There is a sixth sign of awakening, one that was never formally recorded, never openly explained, and rarely spoken of. Dolores never documented it because it does not belong to the many. It is experienced only by the rare few, the 1% who carry both marks. This sign does not announce itself loudly, nor does it arrive with spectacle. Instead, it unfolds quietly, unmistakably, from within. It is known as timeline divergence. When this sign activates, life begins to feel subtly but unmistakably split. On the surface, you continue moving through familiar routines, waking, working, speaking, interacting, yet beneath those motions, something has shifted. You sense another reality running parallel to the one you are in, closer than thought but deeper than emotion. Conversations that once felt meaningful now seem hollow, as if the words are arriving without substance. Old ambitions and desires quietly dissolve, not because they were achieved, but because they no longer belong to you. Even chaos, which once demanded your attention, loses its power to pull you in. As this divergence deepens, déjà vu becomes more than a fleeting sensation. It turns profound, layered, almost instructional. You recognize moments before they fully unfold. Knowing arrives without evidence, explanation, or logical sequence. Dreams cease to be symbolic fragments and begin to feel like transmissions, clear, intentional, and directed. Fear, once a constant background presence, loosens its grip, not because you have conquered it, but because it no longer exists in the frequency you are inhabiting. This experience is often misunderstood. It is not emotional withdrawal, numbness, or detachment from life. It is not dissociation or loss. What is happening is far more precise. It is relocation. Your consciousness is quietly disengaging from a timeline that was never designed to sustain who you truly are. You are not escaping reality, you are being reassigned within it. Timeline divergence marks the moment when the old world can no longer reach you in the same way. The structures remain, the people remain, the scenery remains, but your point of access has shifted. You are no longer anchored where fear, confusion, and repetition govern the flow of experience. You are moving into alignment with a path that responds to clarity, coherence, and inner knowing. This sixth sign is not dramatic, but it is irreversible. Once it begins, you cannot fully return to the previous timeline because you have already outgrown it. What once felt heavy now feels distant. What once defined you now feels irrelevant. And what lies ahead may still be unseen, but it feels unmistakably right. Before we move forward, pause for a moment and feel into what you just heard. If any part of this description resonated, if you recognize the quiet split, the fading pull of the old world, or the strange sense of already knowing, this is an invitation to acknowledge it consciously. You don't need to analyze or explain it. Simply notice. If this speaks to your own experience, take a second to support the channel by liking this video and leave a comment sharing what this sixth sign has felt like for you. Or, if words don't come easily yet, you can simply type, "I am choosing my aligned timeline" in the comments. Your recognition matters, and your presence here is not accidental. Now, with that awareness anchored, let's move into what comes next. Section 6. Activation through conscious recognition. The code does not awaken on its own. It is not triggered by time, chance, or external forces. It responds only to conscious recognition, to intention, to remembrance, to the moment when awareness meets truth. Until that moment arrives, the code remains dormant, patient, waiting not for permission, but for acknowledgement. The method of activation is ancient, carried forward through civilizations that understood the relationship between the body and consciousness. It is not elaborate. It does not require tools, incantations, or spectacle. It requires only breath and awareness, two elements that have always bridged the physical and the unseen. When awareness is focused, the body becomes a living interface, capable of receiving what has long been embedded within it. Begin by placing your attention on the palm, not casually, but deliberately. Let two fingers rest where the symbols align, where the lines intersect with purpose rather than randomness. Draw your breath slowly, consciously, as though the inhale itself is being guided. With each breath, imagine awareness moving into the hand, not as imagination, but as direction. Feel the breath settle there. Sense light rising gently through the body, not forced, not visualized for effect, but allowed like memory returning to a place it recognizes. There is no need to speak aloud. The recognition occurs inwardly, where truth has always lived. A silent acceptance forms not as affirmation, but as consent. I accept the path of the 1%. I accept the code. I remember who I am. These words are not declarations of identity. They are acknowledgments of what was never lost, only quieted. As the body responds, sensations may arise. Warmth spreading through the hand, a subtle tingling beneath the skin. emotional waves that surface without explanation, fleeting images, impressions, or sudden clarity. These are not signs to be chased or analyzed. They are responses, natural confirmations that something internal has been recognized and allowed to engage. This ritual was never designed for the many. It was not meant to be taught broadly or performed casually. It belongs only to those who were marked long before birth, those whose bodies carry symbols not as decoration, but as instruction. For these souls, activation is not about becoming something new. It is about remembering what has always been present, waiting for the moment consciousness finally turns inward and says, "I am ready to know myself again." Once the code awakens, there is no true return, not because something has been taken from you, but because something sacred has finally been reclaimed. What has awakened cannot be put back to sleep. What has been remembered cannot be forgotten. The world you once tried to fit into may still exist around you, but it will no longer exist times within times you. Old conversations may replay. Old roles may attempt to pull you back. Old versions of yourself may whisper that it would be easier to stay the same. Yet, every time you try, it will feel smaller, heavier, and strangely untrue because your soul has outgrown the container it once survived in. What feels like loss is not punishment. It is purification. What feels like collapse is not failure. It is alignment. The unraveling you sense is not the end of stability. It is the end of distortion. The path you are on is not new. It is ancient. The mark remembers it even when the mind hesitates. The crescent moon does not force direction. It reveals what was always there. Together, they do not push you forward, they times guide you back times to yourself. You are not behind. You are not lost. You are not late. You are early. You are marked. You are activated. If your palm feels warm as you listen, if your chest feels heavy with emotion you cannot name, if your soul feels like it is stirring with recognition rather than belief, then understand this clearly. Your next chapter does not begin with prophecy, signs, or waiting for permission. It begins the moment you choose to claim what has already chosen you. This is where witnessing ends and embodiment begins. So now, anchor this moment. Leave a comment below and ***, clearly type the words ****, ****, I accept my code. ****. Do not type it casually. Type it with presence. Let it be a declaration not to the world, but to yourself. If this message resonated, support the energy by liking the video, sharing it with someone you feel called to awaken, and subscribing to the *** Spiritual Flow *** channel so you do not miss what comes next. And when you are ready, continue the journey by watching the video below because the timeline you wrote long before this life ever began is already unfolding, and this was never the end. It was the activation point.